Good afternoon. How are you all doing? Sorry, wrong button. I do. You want to see my ugly mug close up, do you? There we go. How are you all doing? Just let me know if the mic's okay, because I've adjusted things for the Zoom streams, for the members streams. Seems to be peaking quite a lot, but I think it's okay. But let me know if I'm really shouting loud or anything. So yeah, welcome. Wednesday afternoon. Markets are open. Afternoon mumble. It's okay. Good. So markets are open. We've got some fairly big movement already today. So quite a large move up on the Dow, a very big move down on the Nasdaq, and gold moving fairly well as well. So yeah, looks like we're going to get some decent breaks today. This morning we had the DAX was a little bit choppy. So I didn't get on this. Some people got on this today, which is great. But that was the 5-minute ORB today. It moved down very nicely. So you had a very good 2-hour movement, at least to the downside. But with me personally, it closed too close to the low. So the EA didn't take the trade. Also, the same with that candle. It closed right at the low. So the spread that I had there didn't allow the EA to trade. It was just too close, so it would have placed a limit order. So unfortunately, I didn't get that. I did get the 15-minute ORB, and of course, it obviously stopped me straight out on that one, and it's gone absolutely nowhere. So if you did get on the 5, possibly the 10 today, you had a profit. The 5 you did, but the 10 probably a 1-to-1, so you probably wouldn't have taken it. But on the plus side, it did break up above the 5-minute ORB, and I am long. So money's got back off of it, really. In fact, it's an argument for closing it out where it is. In fact, what I might actually do with this is just put the stop under there. So that's going to get back 2/3 of that trade from this morning. Afternoon, Paul. Afternoon, Virginia. I see markets triggered the 1-bar range. Fusion markets triggered the 2-bar range. Yeah. So you will find you will get different trades on different brokers because it's all to do with spread. This is what this function in the EA is for. It's to stop you getting limit orders placed. And that will be dependent on what your broker's spread is. So why I trade with Robo Forex, the tightest spreads you can get, basically, from the research I've done, you don't get tighter than Robo at the moment. Obviously things change, but yeah, so that's why I trade with Robo Forex. But anyway, so apart from the whacking great leverage you get. So it looks like we've triggered long on the, we have on the Dow. See, that's interesting. Look, that is a prime example of the EA normally would reject that trade because if the spread is outside the range when the order gets placed, it goes no. And as you can see, what happened in this case is that's the close of the candle. It's gapped down by 1 tick. With the spread, it actually managed to get the order on at exactly the right level. And obviously they spread it in and then now they're going to stop me out on it. But anyway, so you can't win them all. If that had gone like that, we'd be going, look at that. That's fantastic. Because it's gone that way, we're like, that's crap. Hasn't stopped out yet, though. So will or it won't work. 1-bar range is okay on the Nasdaq. Gold, too tight. So maybe get on the 2-bar range on gold. We'll come back to that in a minute. So yeah, I'm just going to, if this market's going to drop today, we've got the Nasdaq going south, the Dow trying to go long. The DAX will probably go with the Dow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit more and just lock in a bit more profit. That locks in 137. That locks in 144. So that basically pays for the morning. So break even morning. So just see what we do on the afternoon sesh. Just quickly looking at news today. So we had CPI this morning for the Australian dollar. That came out as slightly bullish. It was higher than forecast. So 2.9 was the forecast. We actually got a 3. So nice bullish move up there. Won't show you that yet. Something in development. So nice big push up there on the Aussie again today. If we look at the Australian dollar and look at the ADRs, you can see we've got some fairly decent movement on the Aussie this morning. So we've got the Aussie US didn't quite get up to ADR. It got up to that resistance. Let's just move back to the hourly chart. So it got up to that resistance up there. But the market did have a reaction this morning to that. You can see Aussie New Zealand went up. Aussie Yen, big push up. Aussie Swiss, push up. Aussie CAD, push up. But it's pulling back now. So although that is bullish, we've already had a very, very substantial bullish move on the Australian dollar. So there's a chance, I think, we're going to come back now. The market was anticipating this because we know what happened with the interest rates last time. So I think there's a chance that this might be the kind of the final push on it. So this Aussie New Zealand, actually, let's look at my other account. Aussie New Zealand, I've got back into it. So I said the other day, I got into a trade on this with the RSI extension. We sat around for 2 days, and on this day I said I'm break-evening this. I don't like the look of it. It's just pushed and gone sideways, so there's a chance it will go up. The trade was invalidated, so I got out. We have pushed again today, so I've taken another one, because if you look at the hourly RSI extension, we're above 75. We are also on the 4-hour now, back up above that 80 level. So that's where I like to take trades, the 80 level, which is why that one went in there. We are back on that. So I've decided to get in again up here. I think there's a massive correction coming on this at some point. This whole move here, if you can see, we've had a push, an accumulation, push, rally, accumulation, push, little accumulation, push. Yeah, they haven't done a profit take move since we started this. We've literally had just about a 38 retracement there. So you could argue that that was a profit take. But since that leg up, we haven't taken profit. So it's a case of looking at this as to where this is potentially going to pull back from. And we've got this level coming up here, which is now roughly, I think it's 4 ADR. It's 184. So it's about 3.5 ADR away. So now we've had this second push up again. I'm taking a first entry on this with the anticipation of needing to be in maybe 3, possibly 4 trades by the time we get up to that all-time high resistance. And then I would anticipate them pulling back on this leg. So I'm in again on it. Daily, look at the daily. I mean, we're extended on the daily. Got divergence as well, bearish divergence on the daily time frame. But saying that, you know, we had bearish divergence there. That also failed. So divergence isn't a signal on its own. It's kind of a confirmation. It's going to fail at some point soon. So yeah, so big moves on the Australian again. Let's just quickly look at where we are. So stopped out on Dow, still pushing on the DAX. Nasdaq triggered short. No trade on gold again. Movement. I'm finding it hard to get into gold trades at the moment. Afternoon, Mumo. Afternoon, Marco. How we doing? Right. So ADRs today. There's quite a few to look at. The Aussie Swiss, Aussie Yen, Aussie New Zealand, Aussie CAD. Obviously, all the Aussies basically all pushed up very, very, very hard. We are retracing now. So the 15-minute reversal alert's gone in on that. 5-minute reversal alert was nice and tight this morning up there as well. So a lot of these you will have had reversal alerts on. There was actually a reversal alert on that candle there as well at ADR. And possibly there or there. Possibly. You would have. That's a new high, isn't it? Yeah. So they're all kind of around about that area. The reverse alerts. That's the last one that went in. So that is actually started to move down. Obviously, 15-minute is a little bit more reliable. So all of these basically got a nice reverse alert there. Aussie New Zealand is the only one that's pushing that New Zealand dollar getting hammered again. So all of those are extensions. Euro odd obviously is the inverse to that. So Euro odd will have gone down. Where's Euro odd? What's it doing down there? So that's gone down. Reverse alert's just gone in on that one. So there's your initial move. Look for a push back into propulsion and potentially coming back up into that gap. You've got a few others. Pound odd is hit as well. Pound US dollars moved a lot today as well. Very strong move. If you look at the pound, we've had a very strong sell-off in the pound in London, specifically in the last couple of hours. So not quite sure why we're selling off so hard on that. I did look at the news. We've got Russia seeing some more news. But there's nothing I could see really to do with the pound today that was going to cause it to collapse massively. So I'm not quite sure exactly why that pound move has started. As Bailey speaking there. There is some softening in the labour market. Consumers are cautious. Rate cuts when and how depends on inflation path. Still some further journey down in rates. Damn right there is. Please. Yeah, anyway. So not quite sure why we're getting such a big move down. The US dollar pushing as well today. So pound US dollar obviously will be coming down off the back of pound strength as well as US weakness. US strength as well as pound weakness. But yeah, very big moves there. So there's ADR reversals obviously available on US dollar yen. 4-hour extensions, mainly Aussie New Zealand. That's your big one at the moment, which is the one I've just got into. And you've got US dollar CAD as well, which is also now extended. That's coming up to a lovely weekly resistance. And you've got a monthly resistance backing it up as well. So potentially good moves there. We talked about this morning in the member stream and the fact that this US dollar has strengthened up so much on the rate drop, which would tend to be the inverse. And that's because the market's been selling the dollar off for 4 weeks. So it's just basically correcting and taking profit on that sell-off at the moment. So not necessarily a strong dollar. It's a strong short-term move on the dollar, but not necessarily going to be long-term because they are going to be dropping those rates again. So watch for some resistance bounces. You're above ADR, you're extended above the 80 level on the 4-hour, coming up to monthly and weekly resistance. So you've got a spacing here of just over half an ADR where you're going to find there are sellers. Yeah, we know there's sellers here. So very good sell opportunity on US dollar CAD as well. Right. No movement. Okay, so gold, I've got 15-minute ORB in play. NASDAQ, we've just painted an inside bar, so indecision on the NASDAQ, although it looks like it's testing new lows now. Gold has broken short. Dow is coming down as well, which means the DAX will probably stop out in a minute as well. In profit, obviously, that one. Tricky session today. Members this morning. So in the Academy this morning, we covered expectation versus reality, how to spend your capital. It's about capital allocation, how to spread your capital out across different accounts, different strategies, and whether or not you should be using your capital for prop or for your own capital trading. Obviously, depending on how much you've got, it makes sense now sometimes to buy more capital elsewhere, although obviously you're restricted to what you can trade, or how you can trade rather. And how and why the markets move. That was the majority of the session this morning, which is basically explaining market structure, bank movement, and identifying patterns, bank patterns, basically. So good session this morning. It went on for quite a while, didn't it, those that are in there? So, yeah, you got 46 minutes on that session, and it ended up, I thought that was going to be 15 minutes, but that went into a ramble, and that doesn't include the Q&A at the end either. So if you are a member, you couldn't make the live stream this morning, replays are up, so you can watch the recording on Zoom. And if you want to join and access all of this, then feel free. I have got a new functionality which is just about to be released, which is going to be part of this part of the training, which is the economic news scalping strategy. So with the economic calendar now, fresh, I've just rolled out a version of this and I'm not sure it's going to work. We'll find out. So with this now, you can basically see a price chart for each news event. So I have data going back roughly a year on 5-minute time frame, year and a half on 15, about a year on hourly, and going back way longer on higher time frames. But what you can do basically is open up this button here and it will basically plot for you the news event on your chart, on this chart, on the trading view chart, and it will show you the 10 candles running up to the news event and then 200 candles post news. So what you can do is you can select, for example, this is CPI for the Australian dollar. You can select all the previous news events. You can select a time frame to analyze them on, and it will plot obviously when the news event was. So there you can see that's the news event hitting. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this for our research when we're doing news trading to analyze post-market movement on news events to see how to trade them basically. So you can flick through all the previous news events for CPI. And we're looking at the Aussie US here, but obviously if you wanted to look at the Aussie yen, for example, you can switch over to Aussie yen and flick through them all and see what impact that had, what the immediate impact was short term, what the impact was longer term. And obviously, if you want to go much longer, you can see what impact was afterwards. For example, that's the thing I've just literally remembered. The one thing I forgot to put on here was the actual news event. So what it will say, I was sitting there before the stream, right? I was going, oh, there's something else I was meant to do with this and I can't remember what it is. It was going to plot the previous, if I could type, the forecast and the actual, and whether it's bullish or bearish. Yeah, so you can see the actual news event and then you can see the reaction to the news event. That's the whole point of this. And that's the bit I've missed off the bloody chart. Anyway, that will be there as well. So you can go through them and basically analyze it. So you can see, obviously, with the CPI number there, I don't know what it was for that because it should say it. That's the impact after that news event. But for scalping purposes, you know, looking at something like the Aussie US, we can see what happens. There was no impact on that one. But there's the news event. What happens after the news event? Yeah, so it's a really, really cool tool that is going to allow you to analyze anything. So when we have, for example, the SMB rates coming up, yeah, you can look at what happened on the previous rate. So let's say, for example, on Thursday, the 12th of December, we had a bearish move because they decided to drop the rates without telling us. They said they were going to go 0.75 from a 0.1 and they went 0.5. Good old Swiss, they do it a lot. So we can basically go, right, what happened? Bang, you see a big spike up there. That's actually 10:15, 8:30, 9:10. Slightly the wrong space, isn't it? I have to check that. But there's the impact of the news event, and that's what happened after it. And then you can see what happened to the Swiss franc after that news event kicked in. We had a big, strong move to the upside on the US dollar Swiss. Why? Because the Swiss dropped interest rates higher than expected. So that is obviously bullish US, bearish Swiss. So you had a large move up. So you can analyze exactly what happens with each individual news event on any time frame you want to. It's fantastic. So this is a feature for the pro and elite members because obviously we'll be using it during the training and obviously it's for trading purposes. So if you want that, you can sign up and get it. Anyway, let's have a look at what's going on with the trades. Okay, so out the DAX. So basically that DAX is paid for the morning's DAX, so we break even DAX. Short on NASDAQ, gold pulling back up inside range, Dow broken to the downside. So let's have a look at where we're going. So there's yesterday's low. So at the moment, obviously we bought up yesterday's low from that point there, and that's where we are at the moment. So if we break yesterday's low, you're looking at the low from Monday as being your next downside support. Partial is in between the two, which is great. So if we do break yesterday's low, pretty much guaranteed we're going to hit TP on that one. Dow, loads of room to downside. So downside for me from a TP perspective off of the whatever range I've got there, that was the 5-minute ORB. That is yesterday's low. So that's a pretty good easy one today if we can get down below the Globex lows. Gold, not so cut and dry today. So with gold, obviously, we've got the low of the day so far, which is not yesterday's low. It's the low of the New York session yesterday. That's your low from yesterday. Gold is on an absolute stormer at the moment, rallying away like a crazy thing. So be a little conservative with targets. If we do stop out and break long on that one, that's the high of the day. That's the high of yesterday. So easy to achieve that if we go for yesterday's highs. We'll see. Market doesn't seem to be... actually, it is getting moving now, isn't it? A bit indecisive to begin with, but we're on the move. Very good session this morning. Cool. That price chart feature is great. Yep. I've literally rolled it out about an hour ago, and I was testing it. So there may be little bugs I've got to iron out in it, but 13:30 time, right? +1, yeah. So there might be some. So 9:30 would be 11:30 chart time. So there might be some times out on these. Just check. No, that is correct. Yeah. PMIs have not a lot of impact on that one. But it also shows you as well what events to bother with and what not to bother with. Yeah. So PMIs on the whole, the European PMIs don't tend to really do an awful lot. Because we are more of a service sector in Europe, so pound and the Europeans, we don't manufacture masses. We manufacture a lot of cars, but that's a very stable economy, a very stable sector. So the Purchasing Managers Index is more to do with the fact that it shows you what's going on with inflation worldwide. The PMIs for the European don't tend to really do a massive amount. But they do get used every now and again to actually move the market. So, but you can go through this at your leisure and just see what happens. That's interesting. Never looked at plotting Trump's speeches. Interesting. So we'll look at that. Might have a look at that later. But yeah, anyway, so it's a new feature. So it's also available in the fundamental analysis section. So when you go into fundamental analysis, if you want to go into researching individual ones here, it's the same thing. You can go through the same thing in the fundamental analysis. There's an interest rate decision. Interest rate decisions are always going to move the market. Very rare you'll get an interest rate decision and you don't get a huge move off of it, even if it's as expected, because the market uses it to dump. So, but that's what I'm going to be using it for, mainly the 5-minute time frame. That's interesting. So that line did not move, did it? There is a bug in this. Plotting that at the wrong time. Should be plotting at 2. A bit of a bug. So I need to just iron it out. But I mean, use your head. If it's not on the big spike, kind of assume that's the news. I was in 2 minds whether to do that because it's a pain in the backside doing times. Because the problem you have with times is, right, everything on calendars is released at UTC. Then you have to adjust UTC for your time zone. So I'm at the moment UTC +1, yeah, which adjusts it to my actual time frame. Then when the clocks change this weekend, daylight savings shift, we have to change this, and the broker time is UTC, or rather GMT +2. So at the moment, the broker time on the charts will also be changing. So there's actually 3 different time things that change. And it is the most complicated thing in trading because you need a maths degree to figure it out. It's just an absolute pain in the backside. No broker quotes the same thing in the same way. And TradingView charts, in their wisdom, which is who I use for this, require you to use UTC as a time zone. So we have to convert the calendar back to UTC, adjust it for individual users' time zones, and then the broker's time zone, which is 2 hours ahead, usually, which they call UTC +2, is UTC +2, but only when the daylight savings shifts. And then you've got to convert the whole lot back to a time frame that TradingView will allow you to use, which is UTC. 4 calculations to plot one line on a chart. So I was like, shall I even bother? You can see what happens at the news. But that's my attempt anyway. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. We'll get there. But my God, it's complicated. Anyway, no more movement on gold at the minute. We are inside bar roughly at the moment. Dow, NASDAQ, Dow's inside bar. NASDAQ looks like it's attempting a 3-bar reversal down here. This is an old resistance we're tapping into here, where we stalled out yesterday. So it looks like they're potentially buying up this old double top, which we broke through. We then invalidated it and then broke higher. Potentially this is what we're looking at market structure wise. Just going about it in a very odd way at the minute. And it's like a 3-bar reversal, so we might be breaking long on that. Might be a tricky day today. Inside bar on the Dow. Hi, first time MST room. Welcome, UK swing trader. I almost called you UK swinger then. Love the way you approach the markets. No nonsense, concise coverage. Cool. That's the idea. I haven't got gold teeth, lots of jewelry. I haven't got a Lamborghini. I just sit at home in my office trading. That's news just coming. 3 o'clock, that's new home sales. For the US dollar. Not much impact, as you can see. So trades I've got on at the moment. Aussie New Zealand, which is, as I said, the first one I've got on short today. So that's on the 4-hour RSI extension. Pound Swiss I'm still in. Got 2 longs on that at the moment. It's just stuck for the last sort of few days. So that's just hitting a support at the minute. It's your monthly 2-month low and 1-month low. This whole area here, we're buying up. Hopefully we're going to pull back into this area here. Market structure's going to sort of continue to the downside. Either be coming back up into that high or pushing up towards that high there. And then potentially continuing to make a new low. Swiss franc shouldn't really be this strong at the moment, but obviously we've got a weak pound. And gold I'm in short at the minute. So just waiting for this pullback to start on gold. Ready? So this whole move on gold from basically from there, they haven't taken profit. There was a small profit take leg there, accumulation there, stuck and rally. So I think there's a good chance of at some point coming back down here. You just need a little bit more of that US dollar strength. And it does look like it's coming in. So we've had, that's my second entry gone in up there. That's my average. So we pushed out above this weekly high, first entry taken, continue to push, second entry, divergence. So looking for that reversal on that market structure break there, and then for a test potentially down here. So that is probably going to be my target, this weekly high. It's about 150 ADR. So I'll take both of those off down there. We'll see. Very choppy gold today. Very choppy everything, isn't it? Aussie New Zealand is going crazy still. Yeah. 150 ADR. Just had an alert on it. There you go. 150 ADR Aussie New Zealand. So that CPI number for the Australians is very, very strong. Obviously, if you look at the Aussie news, you've got CPI number came out bullish. Unemployment change was bearish, but unemployment rate was as forecast. So this is the one the market pays attention to, the unemployment rate, not the change. So this is what the bills are basically. GDP was up. Interest rates, we got the forecast 3.6. Retail is up. Your CPI previously for the quarterly was obviously bearish. So this is why it's been so strong. If you get a quarterly CPI number, which is down on forecast, you would expect the annual to come out down on forecast, and we actually ticked up. So again, lots of bullish news. It's all weighted. If you look at the last news events, the last sort of quarter, if you like, we're bullish, nothing, one bearish, bullish, much more bullish than bearish. And that one is the unemployment change, which is not the important one. So it's very bullish there. If you look at the New Zealand dollar, yeah, we are weighted bearish. A little bit of bullish in there, which is retail sales. What do you sell in retail? I mean, it's orange news basically, but I mean, retail, what are you going to sell? Sheep. Basically, that's what they sell, but not retail. Retail is just, consumer purchasing. That's the only bullish thing you've had. So it's all bearish. Everything's going wrong in New Zealand. Everything's going right in Australia. Therefore, pop. And it has been popping for ages. It does this. I've been caught out on the Aussie New Zealand in the past. My biggest squeeze, second biggest squeeze I've ever had was Aussie New Zealand. I got caught in this. There's probably not many of you here that were in the live rooms in 2022, but it's on YouTube. I was in that. Wrong way. Cost me a lot. That's unusual. But there's no real fundamental shift here. So this is the good thing. This move here that we've had, this isn't caused by a fundamental shift. We haven't had the Australians or the New Zealanders turn around and go, actually, we're going to change our interest rates from forecast. And nothing's coming out massively different to forecast. It's just all slightly the right way for the Aussie and slightly the wrong way for the New Zealand. Constantly. So all you need is one Australian news event to be negative and one New Zealand news event to be positive within a couple of weeks of each other, and they will suddenly come out of that, and you'll be back down in this 24.72 zone before you know it. Yes, you'll be pushing. You'll be back down here, push, back down here, push, back down here. Same thing over and over and over. Gold is stuck. It's all stuck. Everything's stuck. We've got a propulsion gap here and a propulsion gap here. So this is your kind of battleground for the sellers at the moment. Afternoon, Brian. How far up do you think it will go? No idea. Well, like I said, actually, I do have an idea. There. So, like I said, it's around about 3.5 ADR, roughly, upside. So that's your all-time high. It's not your all-time high, but it's your all-time high for the last 20 years. Decade. Listen, where are we? That's your all-time high, 2014. So your all-time high for the last decade, basically. You'll get a reaction there. Definitely get a reaction there. If it gets there, you know, you've got to look at where this is and how far extended this is on a daily time frame. Yeah. You know, this is absolutely exhausted. As we covered this morning in the members stream, to be able to buy this, you have to have another party willing to sell it. Yeah. So there will get to a point where you will get exhaustion. Yeah. And the market will just go and it will fly up and it will go, there's no one up here. And that is when they will take profit on that leg and they will start to sell it off. But it needs a catalyst to do that. Usually, I mean, it can just happen, but it's, you know, at some point the weight of orders will shift and this will come crashing down like that. Boom. Boom. You have 3 to 5 days solid where it will just collapse and it will undo 50% of that move. And those are the days you make, you know, in position trading specifically, those are the days where gold's collapsed. Those are the days where you make all the money. So your P&L with position trading, you sit in drawdown all the time. You're always in drawdown. That's the whole way that position trading works. The whole premise is we do not time the market. We scale in and out of bank movement. So we don't know when the bank movement is coming. So we scale in until it comes. You sit there on drawdown for ages and you wait for those moves. When those moves come, everything you have in drawdown suddenly goes there. And you have these huge weeks that suddenly appear. It's patience. It's all about patience with position trading. You just got to wait. It feels horrible being in drawdown. And obviously, you have to cut it at some point. If you get to a point where you're super uncomfortable, you get rid of it. You know, my line in the sand is usually 10%. When I get to 10%, I'm like, this is just too much. But it really depends on how everything else is going. If it's 10% in drawdown and I've made 12% in the month, I might sit there and hold it for a couple of days. You know, it's one of those things. Let's say, for example, you're in this position now in drawdown and you're sitting in whatever you're sitting in and it's getting really uncomfortable. Yeah. Think about that. So you can take a loss or you could scale out of 50% of your positions and take a 50% loss on whatever the trade is. And then when you get to there, that will become the most profitable trade you have had all year. And that's the kind of problem with position trading from a psychological point of view. When you've been in this situation, you've been squeezed for a number of times, and you see the payout on them, it's far outweighs the losses and the drawdown and the pain, because you've got such a large position on by the time you get there. Every move down is so big. When you get to your break-even line and you see it pop 1 hour candle beyond that break-even line, you're up to 2% in profit, something like that. And this is the hard bit, is trying to hold it back into that retracement. Yeah, there's a 50% retracement, 38 to 50% retracement on the cards when this pops. If it gets there. If it doesn't get there from where we are now, you should be able to pull down into there with no problem at all, or there. That is a 50% retracement on the current leg. So it could well want to do that to test the highs. You're never going to know until it does it. That's the difficulty. Oh my God, this gold is terrible. Look at it. It's all terrible today. It's just stuck. The whole market's frozen. Can't make progress. Very volatile gold today. Lots of US movement, obviously, to the upside, which means obviously gold down. Gold is just another cross with the dollar. So we've had a nice run on the dollar today. This is held up very, very well. If you look at the other US dollar pairs, obviously, everything pushing really, really hard. Pound US dollar down really hard. Euro US dollar down. Gold sideways, meaning that we've got very strong gold buying and very strong dollar buying. Buy plus a buy equals a range. Nothing happening. It's always refreshing hearing you explain. Doesn't help you draw down though, does it? Another ADR just gone in. Monthly range on New Zealand US. We are at the end of the month. Obviously, it's 24th, but that's your monthly range just hit. High to low, that is your AMR. There we go. Quite a few extensions there. Aussie CAD is very extended as well. Really extended. 175% Aussie CAD. So where are we? September back here. So that leg. There you go. So there, again, covered like exactly like we said in the live room this morning. Yeah, this is absolute standard bank practice. Push, commercial orders, speculative orders, pension funds, one way, two way, out. Always, always, always the same thing over and over. There's another big extension there I just saw, which was that's gold, isn't it? Yeah. So gold, 200% of the average monthly range. Huge move. That whole thing. Looking for a profit take back down into propulsion here. Here. Very trendy though, isn't it, at the moment? So shallow pullback, 38 retracement. Medium, deep. Put that on the Aussie New Zealand. So depending on where you call this leg from, obviously that arguably is it, but worst case scenario, you're looking at that as the leg that hasn't had profit take yet. That is your target for a shallow pullback. Somewhere in here would be a sort of an average pullback, and a deep pullback would be to 71.9, which is in there. 71.9 on that. That's 0 point, isn't it? That propulsion gap there is a deep pullback. retracement. That leg there, or if you want to call it that leg there. Same thing. It's exactly the same thing. This is exactly what we were talking about this morning, market structure. All this does. So you just have to have the faith in the market structure. You can just go back in time on any move you can ever find anywhere, and you will always find the structure. You just now know where the structure is going. It's going there or there. That's what your move is. You just don't know when it's going to happen. You can't time it. It's just not possible because it's random. But it will happen. Faith. Drawdown creates character. Yeah, you could call it that. Yeah. If you call Sleepless Nights character. I remember when I remember it like clockwork. It was the US dollar Swiss. It was the first squeeze I went through when I put a decent sum into my first position trading account. And I remember there was a night where we had, I can't remember what it, no, it wasn't, sorry, it wasn't the US dollar Swiss. It was the US dollar yen. So I remember going to bed that night and we had, I think it was, I can't remember what his name was, whoever it was at the time was speaking, and we had the Bank of Japan rate coming out. We knew it was going to be a negative 0.1, which it always was. For decades, it was negative 0.1. So knew that was coming, but you always knew when the talking head spoke, the market was going to fly. And I remember I was in something like 15% drawdown on this US dollar yen account. It was huge drawdown on it. And I woke up at about 11:30 and that was it. I could not sleep from 11:30 until that news event came out. It was about 3:30 in the morning. So I stayed up and I got my laptop next to my bed like that. And I was lying in bed, trying not to wake the wife up, with the laptop open, watching the US dollar yen because I was in that much drawdown. It was almost like I was going to get a margin call. I wasn't because I had loads, but it was one of those trades. So yeah, character building, but it doesn't build your character in the way that you think it will build your character. It builds your character by making you plap your pants. First time you go through a big squeeze, it's like all hell's broken loose. But when you come out of the other side of it, you get it. You've got to go through that pain barrier. It's like blowing accounts. We said this again this morning, didn't we? I've blown loads of accounts. When I was younger, I blew loads of accounts. $1,000 accounts, $2,000 accounts, $5,000 accounts, and you just keep blowing them because you just don't know what you're doing. After a while, you go, I'm not going to blow this one. And you don't. And you suddenly then some light bulb clicks on and you go, I get it. I get it. And it's like that. When you get out the other side of a squeeze, you get position trading. You see how it works. You see the profit pile in at the end of the squeeze. And that's where you make your money. Yeah, you're sitting up here in drawdown. Your average is here. When you get to there, you'll be able to pay yourself for an entire month. But it will have taken you 1 or 2 months of squeeze to get it. But when you get it, and you really get it. And if you can hold it with balls of steel, you'll really get it. You'll be looking at a 15% increase on account, on one trade, on one symbol, if you can hold it. And look at past versions of it. Yeah. I mean, that's not a particularly massive squeeze, but that 50% retracement, let's say, for example, you got in here and you scaled in like that. You didn't take the profit there. You could have taken a lovely profit there. But if you didn't take your profit there and you were sitting in 5 trades, no, let's say you got in there and let's call it a big one. Let's say you got into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades there. Your lot size on that 7 trade drawdown, your average will be somewhere around about there. That's an entire month's worth of target in one trade. If you can hold it and have faith in the 50% retracement, which will happen. This one went a little bit further, went to 61.8. It always happens. Bang, 71.9. Bang, 50%. 100% retracement. 100% retracement. Yeah. Not making it up. Just market structure is the charts. That is trading. This market structure at the moment is doing that. Wish I could tell you when, but if I knew that, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be a millionaire. With a time machine, a DeLorean, probably multiple time machines. In fact, I'd trademark time machines so that no one else could build a time machine, so I'm the only person that is a millionaire. Do you reckon that's what Elon Musk did? Do you reckon secretly SpaceX is actually his time travel company, and he's keeping the whole time travel thing trademarked in another parallel universe that we can't access? Could happen. Can you check you're in New Zealand? Yeah. It's just going out to new highs. Loads of propulsion targets to the downside. Look, tons and tons. Again, not really done any profit taking on this leg yet. So tomorrow morning, you might find that euro gets a kick. I mean, the chances of them changing from zero are, I mean, the only way to go for the Swiss now is negative interest rates. So highly unlikely, but if the Swiss do go negative interest rates tomorrow, which, CPI did go down. Yeah, we went to negative equity into first leg of recession last month. So after rising as well. So yeah, I mean, there's a good chance, the Swiss, they'll just go -2.5. They'll just do it. If that happens, the euro is going to come down hard tomorrow. So because of that CPI number, there is a possibility of getting a negative 0.25 on that SMB forecast. So if that is the case, you'll be down here. But you need a catalyst. New Zealand dollar's lucked out at the moment, isn't it? So nicely extended and embedded with divergence as well. Divergent RSI, which is bearish. Again, confirmation rather than signal, but you've also got bearish divergence intra-week. Still waiting on it, yeah. So the relative strength between the two is waning. Price is pushing higher. It's pushing higher because there's no one wanting to buy the New Zealand, so they're having to push the euro further to find people to sell New Zealand. When they basically get any strength in that or weakness in that, it will just come down really fast. Nicely extended. So first entries on this, I mean, you would have been out on that, but first entry on it, if you took that, you're out. So you'd have been in it from here. So realistically, from your first entry somewhere in there, you're looking at 360, so 3 ADR. So you're in 4 trades with a potential 5th if we go up to ADR today. So that would be what you'd be looking for your profit on. That high is that propulsion. You need to be aware of that as well. You may get a resistance bounce there, support bounce. Okay, gold nicely out to the downside. Still got a long way to go to get target on it, but everything else is just dead. Absolutely dead. What can you do? There's nothing happening today. It is all bearish though, so it's good. So initial breaks to the downside, obviously. already broken out on gold. So Trump hasn't said anything, is he, to rally the dollar? The other thing I've wanted to mention today, I've reworked the currency strength system on the website. So previously, currency strength worked on a scale of 0 to 100. I've reworked this to work on a scale of 0 to plus minus 45. So what it gives you is a clearer indication of currency strength. I've also made this now filterable, so you can just filter to individual. So you can now filter individual currencies. So the way to use this is when you get a strong move like that, do the inverse to it. So, but it's good. You've also got a chart now there, which is on proper scales. So it explains exactly all the mathematics and everything. But this now mimics much more closely the one on here. So when was this? 3 o'clock this morning. We had a massively strong Australian dollar and a weak yen. What's the date? 24th. Yeah, there you go. So that kind of around, it's got sort of middling in there somewhere. It's 3 o'clock this morning. So yeah, it's kind of it's a little bit closer to the logarithmic scale that they use here. You can see they use a 0 up to 50. Actually, mine will probably go up to that as well. Yeah, 38. So mine's a little bit more contracted. So yeah, I've changed all that. So if you were using that, and you've suddenly gone, what's going on? That's all it is. So it will give you the same information. It's just clearer. It just makes it clearer. And also now you can change time frame and periods. So if you want to look at a longer period on the chart, you can do. And obviously, depending on the time frame you pick, you're going to get completely different data. So the last 55-minute candles obviously is going to be a completely different strength reading to the last 54-hour candles, because you're looking way back in the future, in the past. So you're going to get different results. So if you're scalping and intraday trading, you want to be on low time frames like M5, M15. And obviously, good way to use this is, if you've got something really, really strong and something really, really weak, obviously it means that's happened, doesn't it? So if you're looking for mean reversion opportunities at the moment, you want to be that is blue, isn't it? Dollar? Is that dollar? Can't even see. Yeah, US dollar, New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar, US dollar is a good mean reversion opportunity at the moment. But, as I always say, all indicators tell you the same thing. Yeah, you could use ADR, you could use RSI, you could use currency strength. They're all going to tell you the same thing. That thing's moved. All telling you the same stuff, isn't it? But yeah, big strong move down there. So you got an ADR reversal opportunity. About get a signal on that. There, you didn't get a signal there. You did get a signal. There. So there was an alert there, but that hadn't hit ADR by then. So this is your first reversal alert at ADR going in right now. We've got 3 minutes left on this candle. If that closes high, that's your first reversal signal on US. I think I'm going to give up today. It's not going anywhere, is it? Be a shame to have red on the ledger, but it's not doing anything. We're stuck. By the way, got a great pick from the Fed meeting last week. Yes. Sorry, that should be red, Brian. That should be red. CNN, Fox. CBeebies, Fox. Bixbrun. This is AI generated, isn't it? Bond Buft. That should be RBS, I think, isn't it? Who's DCMS? Yeah, definitely need a different coloured lightsaber. Is that an Imperial Guard standing on the side there? An Imperial officer? Very good. I had another argument with AI this morning. I swore at it again. It's stupid. I was trying to do something this morning. It was in my actual own EA builder as well, which is even more embarrassing. I was in here in my other account trying to build, not trying to even build anything. I'd imported an EA and I was trying to bug fix it. And it decided it wanted to do it in MT4. And it was an MT5 EA. I clearly said it was MT5. And it was trying to do MT4 stuff. And I was like, but that's MT4 code. And it was like, you're right. Here's a revised version of the code for MT5. It gave me the MT4 version again. So I looked at all the prompt code and double checked it, asked it the same question again, and it gave it to me in MT5. So I called it an idiot with a swear word in front of it. And it said, ever so sorry, I understand your frustration. It's like, damn right you do. Sometime in the future, they're going to get this right, AI, but it's just not quite there yet. Doesn't matter how well you prompt it. Sometimes it just goes, you want Darth Vader? He's got a blue lightsaber. No, yes. Anyway, Chewbacca speech. Yes, there you go, Brian. There's one for you, Chewbacca. Yeah, we should have Trump as Vader, Putin as Chewbacca, Kim Jong-un as, obviously, Jabba the Hutt. Who else could we have? Leader of the Taliban, Sand People. Before I get told I'm being racist, I'll stop right there. Okay, market's attempting new lows. So we've got the first decent looking bear candle just gone in on the Dow and the NASDAQ. Gold Christmas trees at the minute. We've just got a new ADR alert just come in. Aussie New Zealand, AWR. So there's your weekly range on the Aussie New Zealand just gone. Still pushing. So that's the weekly range just hit. We're on Wednesday. Primed for a midweek reversal. That Swiss franc tomorrow, if that does come in as, I mean, they won't put it up. So that's the Swiss, but they shouldn't put it up, but they could put it down. If that goes down, it's going to completely reorganize the market. So they will have to dump all their Swiss franc holdings and put it somewhere else. So it could well move out of the Swiss into the Australasian markets, meaning we get some decent movement in those Aussies. Lots of US news tomorrow, but it's not high impact. Pulling back up again. It feels like it wants to go, doesn't it? But it's just not got the momentum today. So we'll see what happens. It can't hang around here all day. It will go somewhere. But DAX obviously is pushed up because I got out. Obviously, the one you get out of is the one that goes. It's always the way. But yeah, DAX is making new highs. Obviously, US markets are still being held down. So again, divergence in sectors. Something's going to give in a minute. Did you exit your ORB 40 long trade manually? Yeah. AI couldn't get the lightsaber. No. Yeah, so basically I just exited this literally manually this morning. The only reason I got out of that where I did was just to negate that loss from this morning. So we broke short this morning, just about to see that behind my head, and we then popped back up, stopped out. Personally, that's what I got. Other people have posted in Discord today that they got the 5-minute ORB and hit TP. So, it's everybody's going to get different results. The markets are different for everybody. You can be on the same broker with the same account type, with the same EA, taking the same orders, get a different spread and get a different outcome. Yeah. So, as long as your risk reward is in place and the mathematics for the strategy work, just let the trades play out. So personally, I've taken that off. It was the wrong decision today because we would have hit target on it. Target on that would have been 411. So target on that would have been 820. We're at 900. So if you have left this today, you've just TP'd on it. Wrong call. Shouldn't have got out. But that was my call because I'm personally protecting my capital. I've had a lovely run. My decision process today is based on what's happened this morning and this week. If you've had a crap week, you probably don't want to get out there. You probably are chasing loss and probably want to try and achieve a better return on it. This is why trading's so different and so difficult, because nobody's going to make the same decision, are they? Which is why you can't copy trade people as well, because if I hit a button now, by the time you see the delayed reaction to it and you hit the button, your price is different. You've got a completely different P&L to me. Even if you're copying people on Telegram and things like that, you're never going to get the results they get. It's just doesn't work. Dow's pulling back up inside range. So that nice bulk bear candle that we had going in just had a higher high. It's just stuck, isn't it? Look. Just wicks. This is all algorithms at the minute. There's nothing being played at all, apart from all the retail traders who have all just hemorrhaged all their accounts. Just watching this low of the day double bottom. So close to breaking that low. If this low goes, we will be off. Real tight down there. That's why people can trade PAM accounts where other people can invest in with their money. Better than copy trading. Yeah. You're following someone else's signals though, based on their mental state. I can't tell you how many PAM accounts have destroyed people's lives. I totally disagree with PAM. I can set up a PAM right now and you can follow me and copy my trades. Yeah, I have a mental breakdown and I go, screw this, hit the button and short everything. I lose it all. So do you. Why? Because I had a mental breakdown. There's a guy, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, had a PAM going, making loads of money. And he basically went tilt. It was on MQL5 Marketplace. It was up as a copy trader on MQL5 Marketplace as well. And he just vanished. Literally just vanished. Gone. And I reckon he was basically taking the opposite side somehow. I don't know, but there was such a lot of money in it, and a lot of money disappeared. These things vanish very quick. The ones that are run, well, a lot of them are run overseas. I just don't trust them. I've tried them, and they never return what they say, in my experience. But I mean, I could run a PAM off of this account in here, look. And, you know, lovely return. But your account has also got to be able to match these trades and handle this leverage and, you know, everything. It's all got to be the same. So, but, you know, when this is sitting in red, because we've gone into an accumulation week where the strategy just hemorrhages 2 to 3 times a day on every symbol, yeah, you will scream at the PAM person, and it's just not worth the time to try and explain to someone, yes, we're in drawdown because of the market conditions after they've had a run up. Yeah, it just becomes this pain in the backside that I think, I don't know, I even just thinking about running one just fills me with dread. I have enough trouble being in charge of my own capital, let alone trying to pay other people's mortgages, car payments, put food on their children's tables. Learn to do it yourself. There he is. But who is it? Look at these hands. He's wearing, that is definitely Chewy gloves. That is someone in a suit, isn't it? Federal Reserve Sleal 117S5 something. Getting much better with the backgrounds, isn't it? I can't tell hands because obviously the hands, he's got no hands as well. Those hands are good. Hands, AI's got better at hands. Much better. Oh, look at that in the background. Gotta love it. I'm just trying to wait for the market to move. It's not moving. A Powell backer. That was Powell backer in Telegram. I don't know how long Powell's got left. I'm not convinced he's going to be around too much longer. If I was him, I would have jumped ship ages ago, taking that abuse. 3-bar reversal forming on the DAX. For a pullback into support or into propulsion. Gold, new low of the session. We're on our way to support. So I might, if gold gets down to a decent amount, I might just shut the lot. This is like pulling teeth at the moment. In fact, even on the day, didn't it? Missed the opportunity now. Look, pushing back up again. Don't know what to do with it today. Not a lot you can do. So new home sales came out very bullish. Not high impact news. All these moves. Wow. A lot of contrarian signals on retail at the moment. Retail very heavily buying against the Swiss franc. That's something else I'm going to introduce on here. I'm going to put charts on here so that we can see on the historical sentiment. Oh, I've already done it. When did I do that? I completely forgot I did that. Okay. Yeah, I put a chart on there. So I can't even remember doing that. That was something I was planning to do. So you can basically look at individual so look at what happens when things happen. So you got a big spike up there on the Aussie dollar CAD. So they went from being 14% long to being 41% long on the Aussie CAD on the 2nd of September. So you look at the chart on the 2nd of September there, you can see that the chart did the opposite. Retail goes long, market goes short. Market stays short as long as retail is long. When retail goes short, market pulls back. Retail goes long, market goes short. Rinse, repeat. Do the absolute opposite to what everyone else is doing, you'll have half a chance. Only half a chance, not a full chance. I'm going to call it today. I've got an opportunity for a break even on those two. Gold, I'm not going to babysit. I'm just going to it's either going to break session low, daily low, and flush, or it's not. And if it's not, I'm just going to take a break even on it and take that loss for the day. This thing's just not going anywhere. There's absolutely no point in sitting here running the risk of 3 stop outs at full loss. It's just pointless. So I'm not going to play around with it on the off chance that the 50-50 coin flip might go south. Basically what it is. So I'm going to leave it there. And yeah, not really do much. Going to go and paint my fence. This week, the lives. So this is where we are here. Friday morning, we've got a new member stream planned. We're going to be covering definitely that, probably that, and maybe that if we can squeeze it in. I'm trying to catch up because the sessions are taking longer than normal because I don't shut up. So that's Friday morning stream, 9 o'clock. If you want to come to that, feel free. Otherwise, we got the Friday session at 2:30 as usual, Friday afternoon, which is going to be 45 minutes. And then after that, we've got the members weekly Q&A where all the members who watch the replays can come and ask questions. If there aren't any questions, then it's just basically an open forum, which will either last 5 minutes and we can all go to the pub, or it'll be an hour and it's whatever you want. So that's basically for just discussing anything we want to members wise. So that's Friday afternoon at 3:30, an hour after the New York session on YouTube. So that's what we got for the rest of the week. That'll be a really good session for anybody that doesn't know what the 3 strategies are, which I'm pretty sure most people do, but it's always good to hammer it home. As usual, because I've got out, the market looks like it might want to try a short. So it's going to be one of those days. 3-bar reversal on the DAX. Beautiful. Push, pause, pull. Great reversal signal at highs. So if you want to get in short on that, stop above that high. It's going to work out. That's what you're looking for. Other than that, sideways. Mess. I keep looking over there because there's a screen over there which is mimicking my screen. So I keep thinking the camera's over there, but it's not. It's here. Trying to stay sane while watching the barcoding. Yeah, absolute barcoding. So yeah, Christmas trees. One of my old mentors used to call these red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, and it's like Christmas. You never make money at Christmas. Always goes out, doesn't it? Doesn't come in. Don't trade Christmas trees. will lose. Right, I'll be back on Friday afternoon for usual. We'll do the same thing, New York session. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. If you want to join and come in the members stream, obviously you can watch all the replays and you get obviously all the live stuff, which is all on the website. You can join anytime. I don't know if this puts links in there. It doesn't, does it? But anyway, it's if you go onto the website and just click either members. Come on. So slow. Click members or the live rooms. That will take you to somewhere where you can, that'll be a join button. Or you can just click that. Right, anyway. So anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back on Friday. So have a good day.